As a child, video games were a good chunk of my entertainment. I remember the nostalgia of spending hours on end being engrossed in these video games. Many of us had childhood experiences like that, but some games and game designers take it a step further. They create what are called eSports. But what are eSports? This buzzword has been tossed around for years as a general term for professional video gaming. But what really constitutes an esport? And where did esports come from? And what makes an esport different than just a game? This video will take a look at the different esports, the career opportunities of esports, and the esports industry as a whole.
By definition, esports are electronic sports. Sports that test your mental ability through electronic apparatuses, rather than your physical ability, your endurance, your stamina, your power. The beginnings of most of today's esports start with one large game franchise, Warcraft. This game was developed by a company called Blizzard Entertainment, a company that is very successful even today. They are best known for their hit role-playing game, World of Warcraft, a game that is based off of the backstory of the game shown here, Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 is a strategy game that involves gathering resources to build an army to overcome your opponent's army and eventually eradicate them to achieve victory. Warcraft 3 had a customizable battlefield feature built into it, a feature that developers could play with to make modifications in their own private games. These modified maps, which include custom units and changeable gameplay, sometimes attracted small communities. This is exactly what happened with a Warcraft 3 mod called Dota All-Stars. Dota All-Stars became so popular so quickly that other developers moved to make copies rather quickly. Two developers from the Dota All-Stars scene moved to create their own company, Riot Games, and later developed the hit game League of Legends. Straight off of the Dota theme, but not the same gameplay. They changed a lot of the mechanics found in Dota All-Stars, but kept the same general theme, to appeal to both Dota fans and people new to the genre of gaming. Other esports, like Hearthstone and StarCraft, came directly from Blizzard, while other games like Dota and League of Legends came as a byproduct of Warcraft 3. First-person shooter games like Counter-Strike Global Offensive and Call of Duty grew parallel as a totally different genre, but still an esport.
While there are many esports out there, including Hearthstone, Dota 2, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a game called League of Legends stands out above and beyond as the premier esport for all regions, and thus will be the primary focus of this video project. League of Legends is a game designed by an LA-based company called Riot Games, a game which was developed off of the previously existing game Dota, or Defense of the Ancients. The main professional competition in North America and Europe for League of Legends is called the LCS, or League of Legends Championship Series. The way the system works for the LCS is that the top 8 teams in each region are seeded against each other for a 10 to 11 week schedule, in which they compete for standings. At the end of the season, the top 6 teams out of the 8 teams will compete in playoffs to see who's the top team of each region. After that, a World Championships takes place between all the major regions, in which the top 3 teams from the region will compete for to be the title of the best team in the world. Other leagues, like the LCS, exist in other countries, such as Korea's OGN, China's LPL, and Taiwan's GPL. The NALCS, or the North American LCS, takes place live in Los Angeles every Saturday and Sunday in a studio in Manhattan Beach, a place that I very recently visited, and I would love to share my experience with you. I'm here at the North American League of Legends Championship Series studio in Los Angeles, going to ask some viewers and pro players about their opinions on esports.
Esports is the competition between different players at a high level in online games. And esports is different from any other sports because it requires more intelligence of the mind and strategy rather than physical in other sports.
Well, esports is basically just, as the name implies, electronic sports where video game players at a high level compete against others for a cash prize. What makes it different than regular sports is that esport, because they stream how they play, they get a lot more viewer interaction and have a deeper connection with their own fans.
Esports is playing video games on the professional level, earning money from it. What makes esports different from a game is that you're getting paid for it, it's much higher stakes, and it gets a new enthusiasm and a new pressure that you can't really replicate.
So esports are electronic sports, so it's video game competitions essentially, usually team competitions. Well, I guess they're fighting games, which aren't. But it's kind of different from normal game in that the level of competition and that there's a professional scene and people making a living off of this.
He pulls in Piglet. Piglet picks himself up the easiest kill he'll get of the game.
And every lane is getting punished for Royal right now because Godlike cannot push up against Impact, and Faker destroyed Whites.
There it is again, one after the other.
These are clips from the Season 3 League of Legends World Championships, where Korean Titan SK Telecom T1K took on the Chinese powerhouse Royal Club. With 32 million viewers watching live and a $1 million prize pool, the stakes were amazing. SK Telecom ended up taking this best-of-5 series in a 3-0 sweep, causing the League of Legends community to go into uproar about the quality of the finals. About 32 million viewers is an incredibly impressive statistic for an esport. 32 million viewers is roughly double the amount of people watching the NBA Finals in 2013, and a quarter of the world's biggest sporting events viewership, which is the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl achieving about 100 million viewers. This statistic was really a big thing for esports, but esports goes beyond just
Not
viewership.
landing anyone. Godlike keeping the pressure on. SKT are running away from this one. It's going to be a double kill for Whites.
They keep going in. Godlike's now in the fray. The Flame Spitter is shut off there. Coming in by Faker. They're looking for the cooldowns, but they're in the middle of the fight, getting torn apart. They're kicked back, but the hit to the face before he gets away.
Can they chase down Faker? Whites is going to try and cut him off with a ripwalk, and Faker realizes it. He's going to try and turn back on 20. Barriers available though. Who will get the kill? It's going to be Whites. Faker's going to try and finish it off, but that is a lot of kills for Whites. 5-1-2.
An ace for Royal Club, and they're still down 3,000 gold.
Due to the demographic of those involved with esports, esports has long attracted the interest of many smaller computer companies like Razer or Phoenix. However, recently, some larger name companies have started to get involved with esports. Some examples that are notable include Coca-Cola sponsoring the League of Legends Challenger Series, the Air Force Reserve, that's right, the military, sponsoring North American team Cloud9, Nissan, the car company, sponsoring North American team Curse, T-Mobile sponsoring esports organization Evil Geniuses, and Microsoft sponsoring Call of Duty teams playing Black Ops 2. While these are some of the many examples of sponsorships in the esports industry, it's plain to see that companies have an interest in this industry. This is because they can appeal to a certain demographic which companies may want to sell their products to. Specifically for computer companies, to play games you obviously need a computer. This would encourage computer companies to want to advertise to players that might need a computer to make money off of them.
Forward back, can they continuously get the fight? Piglet got some of the waters on him, and they're now absolutely running for the fountain. This does not look good for Royal.
This doesn't engage. Crescendo catches all of them. It's a double for Impact. They get on the fountain. SK Telecom are just rolling through. The Nexus turrets are potentially going to go down. This could be a 20-minute game for SK Telecom. They will be the Season 3 World Champions here at the Staples Center.
I'm here with Travis Gafford, one of the leading esports journalists in the industry. So, Travis, you've been in esports for a long time. What do you think about getting a career as an esports journalist?
Getting a career as an esports journalist, it's really kind of like a double-edged sword right now, because we're at a point where there's a huge demand for this kind of stuff. For more journalists, there's a lot of stuff to cover, lots of teams to interview, and the scene is ever expanding, so it's a great time to try to get into it. The only thing is that I would argue that, along with like the rest of the industry, the journalism side and the media side has been the slowest to catch up with it, because a lot of the stuff that you're seeing is a result of pretty big subsidization from like people like Riot that are putting on the league at a loss. There's not too many people out there right now that want to run content at a loss, like journalism and media. So it's still kind of hard to find like jobs that are actually paying, but I do think that there's a huge opportunity for people to get into the industry. They just can't expect to like make it big and be bringing home like a really big salary right out the gate.
Right. So how has esports changed since you started your career many years ago?
Sure. Esports was at the rising tide, right around the time that it began to explode, right when I got into it. Thankfully, I guess I got into it at a pretty good time because then it, kept growing like crazy in the past 3 years. But I would say that it's just gotten much more professional. You've seen people like Coke and American Express come in to sponsor stuff. I work for CBS Interactive, which is a dream I could have never expected to have when I started an amateur podcast not so long ago. So, Air Force Reserve coming in. So I'd say generally it's just everything's really blowing up, and I'm really excited about it. We're seeing a lot of mainstream coverage and attention and that sort of stuff. So it's been just insane growth and a phenomenal change in the past 3 years.
All right, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
There are a lot of career opportunities in esports, from a player to a coach to just a cameraman on the set. Each niche must be filled. The players are the stars of the shows, the 5 players that go every week to the stage in the LCS and duke it out to make sure that their team is the best they can be. But behind the scenes, there are many coaching staff that come into play to make the team strong. The coach is the one that makes sure the players are managed correctly, they get there on time, and they have all the equipment they need. The analyst makes sure that the players know what they're doing in game, so that the players can focus on their individual skill and not on the general game sense as much. On the actual set, shoutcasters give commentary while the game is being played to make sure that viewers are able to follow along a little easier regardless of their skill level. Whether a player is new to the game or a veteran, they can come tune into the LCS and the shoutcasters will help guide them along the process of listening to the game. The cameramen do all the camera work, and the spectators control the spectator feature in the actual game client. A very difficult job to keep up with all the action happening minute to minute in the game. Specifically in Korea, video intros are a big part of the Korean professional esports scene. Video producers are hired coming from movie sets and TV shows to help produce little shorts for Korean professional play. Here's an example. As you can see by the stunning video work, this is a profession that requires a trained individual to be able to complete this kind of task. This is a job that could be sustainable within esports, if you had the skills required. The difference with esports, other than different jobs, is that oftentimes, as esports die off, one would have to move back and forth between different esports as they come and go.
Now that you've learned a little bit more about esports, you may be able to clearly see that esports is not just a gaming competition, it is a flourishing industry for people that want to get involved in it. From an esports reporter, to an analyst, to a coach, down to just a food vendor at the live events, or being a pro player yourself, esports offers job opportunities for just about anybody willing to be involved with the industry. Even from a strictly commercial point of view, esports offers an attractive business venture that many companies have been moving quickly to get themselves involved in. Over in Korea, esports has a very defined infrastructure that has been in place for many years. Esports events in Korea are televised very often and consistently rank top 5 in terms of television viewership. Also, Korea has a political party that represents esports as a whole. They are called KESPA, or the Korean Esports Political Association. One can only hope that these kind of infrastructures will be available in the West in some time. You may be seeing an esports event on your television very soon. Thanks for watching.